Mr. Sia Kemping.
Question 38, sir.
The number of Singapore academics as a proportion of all faculty members in our autonomous universities, AUs, has remained fairly stable at about 50% over the last 10 years. MOE started the Singapore Teaching and Academic Research Talent or START scheme to develop Singaporean academics and to supplement existing schemes at the various AUs. Under START, 91 scholarships have been awarded over the past 4 years. As it is relatively new, most of the scholarship recipients, they are still studying. Of the 16 who have completed their studies, 13 are holding faculty positions in our AUs, with the rest returning to join the AUs later this year. START recipients have already demonstrated involvement in impactful, locally relevant projects in areas such as language and palliative care. NUS's Presidential Young Professorship Scheme and the NTU's Non-Young Assistant Professorship Scheme, PYP and NAP, aims to attract top local and foreign academics to the AUs. Thus far, NUS and NTU have granted a total of 91 awards. Together, the three schemes provide various forms of support for aspiring and young academics at different stages of their studies and their careers. This comes in the form of financing support during PhD or postdoc stints, mentorship from faculty members, and research grants. On average, MOE and the AUs have invested about $11 million per year on these three schemes since 2015. We will continue to work with our AUs to build a strong Singaporean core in our faculty. It is critically important that we have a strong core of local academics in our AUs.
Mr. Sia Kemping.
Thank the Minister for the answer. Just a few supplementary questions. I've spoken on this topic in previous sessions. In stating that there's about 50% of local representation in our universities, I would like to ask the Minister whether are there any particular faculties that he feels which are underrepresented in terms of the local academics in these faculties. First, in terms of universities, are there certain schools which are lacking? And then within the universities, are there certain faculties where the number of local academics is lacking? And if so, what are the measures that will be taken to boost these numbers up? Thank you.
Thank you. When it comes to STEM, STEM is by nature, the research and teaching is international. In fact, the more international inputs you have, the richer the experience in terms of students learning, as well as the richer the research outcomes. For arts and social sciences, it is a bit more complex because students, faculty who are here also need to understand the Asian context, and the Singapore context, and the history, the geography of Singapore that define who we are. So beyond having diversity in terms of knowledge and background, we particularly need a strong Singaporean core in arts and social sciences. So my short answer, that will be our focus. What measures can we take? We are actively discussing with the AUs, not just now, but for the past year or two. PYP, NAP are such schemes, START are such schemes that could help build up arts and social sciences, local faculty in these areas, but there are also other practical steps we are discussing with both all our AUs, and we will implement them in time to come.
Associate Professor Walter Tessera.
I thank the Minister for his response. I have two supplementary questions. The first is if the Minister could share more on the age profile of Singapore versus foreign faculty, and this is because anecdotally, it seems many Singapore faculty are concentrated in the older side of the profession because they predate our opening up of the sector to foreign faculty. The second supplementary question is if the Minister could share more on the academic ranks and positions held by Singapore versus foreign faculty, because there is a difference between holding a tenure track or tenured position and holding, for example, a teaching position, which is much less secure and is less flexible. Thank you.
Thank you. The age profile of faculty, I'm afraid I don't have those data with me. We do have those data. If you file a question, we're happy to ask them. But we do watch those data, and we want to make sure, how is it that we have 50% local academics over the past 10 years? Because we do watch those data and make sure that it's not just the stock that matter, but also the flow, which is why we need a start scheme so that we bring in young local academics from young. Second question, the positions. They hold a variety of positions. I would not say it's particularly skilled. 50% applies to the whole academic faculty as well as tenured positions. As you know, it is also important for us, especially in comprehensive universities like NUS and NTU, that we do not just focus on the tenured professorships. It is also very, very important to recognize that the primary mission of our AUs is actually to educate the young and develop them. And teaching professorships, practice professorships are in fact very important too. And I really hope to see, and actually that's one point that Mr. Seah Kim Peng asked, what are the measures that we are taking. And one of that is to really elevate teaching professorship to be really on par with tenured research professorships.
Dr. Intan Azura Mokhtar.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Minister, I declare my interest as a faculty member in a local EU. Do you think that in most, basically we have two comprehensive universities, is there an overemphasis on publication, academic research, and university ranking that we compromise the quality of teaching among our faculty? Anecdotally again, when a particular university wanted to chase university ranking, a lot of faculty members, foreign faculty members were brought in based on their past publication and research and not so much on the quality of teaching, which then has an impact on the students, on our students. Could something be done about this?
First of all, I think we should be clear, ranking is not bad. Actually, to be ranked high internationally is something we should be proud of. And NUS, NTU have all been ranked high. And if you ask most universities, most governments, do they wish to have a university that ranks high, whether in QS or Times, they will say, I wish we have NUS and NTU. Because when you rank high, you can attract good talent, you can attract good students, and there's a whole vibrancy around the whole campus. So it is actually a good thing. But actually, if you also ask most academic leaders around the world, education ministers around the world, not everyone is happy with the ranking system. Because of the rubrics, it's just a bit too blunt, a bit too focused on research and not so much on teaching. And even within research, too much focus on publications rather than translational research, for example, or the impact of research. And nobody has really cracked the puzzle how else to measure and to have a robust international ranking system. And we must know these shortcomings of the whole rubrics and make sure that the ministry, the university work together, ensure that we know the multifaceted mission of our AUs and make sure we carry out our work in a way that fulfill all this mission and not just blindly chase rankings. We are very well aware of that in Ministry HQ, and so do the leaders of our AUs.